So it's the 23rd of the 11th, 2019, and I'm just uploading a little bit more about the experience of human rights violations that I'm experiencing. I've explained, I think, pretty clearly about how all of this became apparent and how it was easily orchestrated in Tralee. They talk about people power, and they talk about playground tactics, really, that even children would be aware of. The idea of cliques and of little tidy groups just coming together and infiltrating a person's life has been easily perpetrated in Tralee. As a person that's quite introverted and quite private, regardless of these uploads that I feel like I've had to share, my privacy and livelihood has been infiltrated, I can only say, by an imposter, a group of imposters that have said the most inaccurate claims about me. The most obvious ones that I'd like to clarify and establish are, first and foremost, the insinuation that I have or had an intellectual learning disability. That was implied at one stage and actually stated by professionals that I've apparently got a learning intellectual disability. I'm actually a graduate and a postgraduate and other qualifications along with that. So that would be an obvious, negation of what they have claimed about my intellectual capacities. Also, the claims about mental health that I've already discussed are obviously untrue also. The claims about mental health are very dangerous, especially as a teacher. I've not shown any aggression to students ever in the classroom. I've never stepped over the line with any student in the classroom. I've not ever abused any child in the classroom or outside of the classroom. Only up to 2016 I was teaching, and to be teaching I have to have a clean record, clean vetting record, and if I hadn't, I wouldn't be able to teach. So that's just another false allegation that's been made against me. Also, at one stage it was said that I wasn't a teacher at all, and that my profession was in a different field altogether. Also, my marital status has been lied about. I'm a deserted wife, unsupported. So there's also been very serious defamatory claims regarding that also. So basically, the point I'm trying to get across is that when a person is being isolated by a community in a vendetta of hate crime and constitutional wrongdoings and human rights violations, there is a very dangerous tactic employed by such individuals to say what they want and to do what they want. Now, as I've mentioned, my legal rights have been completely disrespected in this country. I've sought legal aid. I've had false claims made about me with regard to legal aid. I've been deprived of legal representation, defence or advice, intentionally so, because of the culprits that have been orchestrating this vendetta. That's all I'm going to call it, it's a vendetta. So while I'm experiencing all of these wrongdoings and violations, with information, legal advice has been intentionally withheld from me. Supports have been withheld from me. Resources, etc., and advocacy have been withheld from me. So basically, as a survivor of sexual assault of over a decade ago, that I'm fully recovered from and have forgiven completely, and completely moved on from, and as a victim now, on the 22nd, 23rd of November, of the most serious violations and wrongdoings. I'm here unsupported by the government and unsupported by the guards and unsupported by civil liberty agencies because of the tactics of hate crime and the infiltration into my private life, the false information claimed about me, and other more serious tactics that have been employed. So, as a fully functioning, intelligent, capable adult female of nearly 40 years of age, deserted wife, unsupported, mother, etc., teacher, whatever, all the things that, I'm a photographer, I'm an artist, because of hate crime, there's been a collective group of people that have intentionally affected each aspect of my life simply because of their greed for publicity, power, and property. In the news you hear about people being abducted because of their wealth and their property, and I'm in this situation as a deserted wife, experiencing the most serious wrongdoings and the violations occurring without, the guards acknowledging that I'm a victim, not a mental health patient, not a criminal, not an abuser, but as a victim, perfectly healthy, perfectly sane, perfectly mentally healthy, considering the circumstances. For this to be facilitated is very, very, very worrying for all women, and it's basically sending a message to this country and to Europe that women that aren't liked, that are powerful, or that have achieved, and that are successful, as I was up until people started causing me these problems with lies and intrusions and interference and violations, are able to pay their way through the quagmire of lies and damage that they've caused and not be held accountable or responsible for the wrongdoings that they've caused for an innocent woman. So I'm wondering if those that are listening to this have any conscience, and I'm particularly concerned about politicians that would ever think that this kind of a situation is any way tolerable, especially in the European Union, especially in the 21st century, and especially in a country that's supposed to be a democracy. Now, if there's been alterations to that democracy that I haven't been informed of, well, that's another issue, because I have sought information regarding all alterations with regard to legislation and whatnot that have been withheld from me. As a teacher, apolitical, I'm not a political person at all. I'm an artist, I'm a photographer, I'm a humanitarian, and I'm isolated in the community because of people's issues about me, whether it's because they feel intimidated or whether they feel jealous or whatever, I don't know. But for this kind of conduct to be going on amongst adults, professional adults, because of hate crime, is just the most serious issue that any society would ever have to contend with. Because, as I've said, I've not caused any criminal offences. I've not been involved in any criminal activity. I've not abused my position. I've not abused others. I've tried to defend myself against assaults that have been perpetrated against me, and to have been experiencing these kind of situations without any acknowledgement or support from guards or government says to a lot of other women that we just aren't safe in society anymore. And that's very sad, because women, just-minded women, fair-minded women, intelligent women, creative women, wives, mothers, teachers, daughters, we all have a fantastic contribution to make to society. And to have that disrespected because of other people's issues is very serious. I've spoken already about my position as a light worker and my position within the fellowship. There are other issues that, have come to the fore since I've positively helped other people on their journeys of recovery. And because of this issue of hate crime and competition and jealousy and the most horrendous tactics of trying to gain acclaim have only given this country and this society and community a very bad reputation. And the scandal that happened over 10 years ago when I experienced sexual assault and revenge porn has now yet again raised its nasty head and caused yet again another assault, and another scandal that any community, any self-respecting community, any civilized community would be ashamed of. I have nothing to be ashamed of. Um, I haven't ever caused any trouble, offence for others, except for the fact I've had to defend myself against the troubles of others. So I hope that there'll be some logic and reasoning and conscience brought to this situation when people are thinking of perpetrating any further violations.